word, that's a capital distribution. Bella's cord is the prophet, phantom Santa. Every time I step outside, the air gets thin and his charts collapse like they forgot how to persevere. Velvet cord, the northbound force who turned Mrs. Claus into my CFO. She said Santa's credit score's a joke and his whole timeline's unclear. We flipped the toy shop floor into a high-frequency command tower. Algorithms humming louder than Santa snoring in his final hour. Reindeer renegotiated, told them velvet holds the power. They saw my charts curve upward like a meteor shower. Mrs. Claus draped in velvet, checking futures on my screen, crunching data in her lenses, North Pole shimmer looking mean. She said velvet Santa's metrics barely register a green. You the breakout, he the breakdown, baby, you the evergreen. Oh, the kind of name that makes Santa double check his balance sheet, cause every time I move the market dips him deeper into debt. Velvet cord, the reason Mrs. Claus packed her bag, said she'd rather ride my bull run than babysit a washed up chart stuck in permanent regret. Velvet cord, the one who turned the North Pole into a capital machine. Tendies raining so heavy, even reindeer lined up begging for a seat in my debt. Santa put up stressing, sleigh wobbling like a failed commission. Try to question Mrs. Claus, she hit him with a boy,
your competition.
Elves went full mutiny, joined our bullish coalition. Even Rudolph filed an exit, said my alpha's his ignition. We launched the TNDY index with unstoppable ascension. Reindeer trading derivatives like they're built for intervention. Santa tried to short the Kohrs campaign in desperate condescension. We gamma squeezed his whole existence into quiet apprehension.
Oh, brother. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I hope everyone had a great November, had a great holiday, and you are ready for another fun-filled week, day, and month, I guess, now that we're kicking off December. Folks, I appreciate you joining me at the butt crack of dawn right now. It's just a little bit past the hour. We have about 25 minutes to go until the casino lets all of us D-gens back in, and I'm very, very excited for today, because if you haven't seen the pre-market action, we already had a lot of frothiness, a lot of volatility, a lot of movement, and a lot of ranges, which means maybe, just maybe, we could get on the right side of some big moves today. Obviously, fingers crossed. But before we get into that, I know it's been a hot minute since we've really been able to hang out. We really had a heart-to-heart, I guess, on Wednesday of last week. Obviously, the following day, Thursday, Thanksgiving, the market is closed. I hope you guys had a great time. If you were traveling, I hope it was as easy as could be. I believe there was some sort of crazy storm kind of near in the Chicago area, so I hope that didn't impact too many of you. But hope you had a great Thursday. The market was technically a half day on Friday. We did go up, but I don't think many people were trading. If you happen to trade, I hope you crushed it, but I think a lot of us were more so extending the weekend. Then obviously we got into the weekend, the official weekend, and now we're here in December. Now we're kicking off a fresh day, a fresh week, a fresh month. And I know a lot of the chit chat is going to be about this concept of the Santa Claus rally. Are we going to be rallying into year end? And I know that's an interesting question to ask, especially right now when the pre-market session is looking a little bit red, but I'm going to be explaining why that is happening. So if you're waking up and you're saying, why in the world is everything down? Why is crypto uniquely getting hit? It all relates to what's going on with the monetary policy and specifically the yields over in Japan. So we're going to be chit-chatting about that. But beyond that, I do kind of want to set you up for the week in general, because obviously now that the government is reopened and it's been a little bit, finally they're getting their act together. So we're going to be getting a lot of major macroeconomic reports this week. We're also going to have some earnings, and then that's going to set us all up for next week, where we're finally going to most likely be finding out that we are in fact getting a 25 bips rate cut. So even though monetary policy is on the move over in Japan, even though it's on the move over in really the Eurozone area, I should say, the big one is going to be us, and that's going to be going down next week. So I want to prep you up for that. And then right before the market opens, I'm going to be bringing it back to today, where we have an interesting player that we haven't seen in a hot minute. For the longest time, obviously here, this is the top tier place to really truly track what in the world is going on in the world of option trading on any given day, any given moment. And for the longest time, we were talking about Captain Condor, and Captain Condor and crew have been kind of quiet, have been kind of silent a little bit lately. Well, I'm here to let you know that officially Captain Condor is back in play today. So we're going to find out, are they going to be knocking off the rust and put in a solid play, or are they going to get a pretty rude awakening, I guess you could say, and get blown out on their first day back? So of course we're going to be getting into that, a little bit of seasonality, and basically everything to prep you guys up for the month, the week, and the day. But most importantly, I hope you had a great extended weekend. I hope you were able to recharge, relax, eat a bunch of turkey, have a bunch of pie. And I guess with all that in mind, I'm happy to be back here with you. I hope you're ready for another fun-filled day in the world's largest casino, and let's get into it. Stock futures fall to kick off December with tech stocks and Bitcoin declining. Yes, especially crypto. Bitcoin plunges to below 86,000 in risk-off start to December. So not necessarily the best way you want to be kicking off a fresh month. You could see the SPY is currently down 0.6% in pre-market trading. The Nasdaq is down even more, 0.9%. The Russell is down 1.2%. Bitcoin is currently trading at 86,000, down almost 5% on the day. And this is a big bummer, because really coming into the new month, the new week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row, we were looking real good. We exploded from 6,500 all the way to 6,850, and we did not look back. Green day, green day, green day, green day, green day. We even took out this trend line. A lot of dominance last week, like literally Friday to Friday, it was looking pretty solid. And at this point, just because there's a bit of red, remember, that is no sense to run around. It's not pandemonium. Okay, you can have red days and you could still be in a bullish market. Yes, we did save ourselves. This appears to be a fake out breakdown. We're on top of all the major EMAs. If anything, a better question isn't why are we going down right now? It's why did we go up so much without taking a single break? So I get it. If you're really, really zoomed in here, you might be saying, what in the world is happening? But let me remind you, we haven't seen these levels since literally the last time I saw you guys, Wednesday of last week. So are we giving some back? Yeah, but we're giving back that random trading day on Friday, the half trading day, low volume, low liquidity, not many people paying attention to it. If anything, we've just reverted to where we were halfway through the day on Wednesday, like I said, when I left you last week. So I don't consider this to be like the end all be all, the biggest deal in the world. If you want to know what's going on of why we're pulling back to roughly 6,800, pretty much where my cursor is right here. The reason is because if you look at the yield rates right now going on in Japan, the 10-year yield is at a level we haven't seen since 2008. So once again, people are kind of getting freaked out about this concept of the yen carry trade blowing up. So right here, you're seeing USD JPY pairing starting to take a dip. Obviously, if you want to look at it the other way around, you could do JPY USD. This is going to be perfectly reciprocal of each other. That's starting to catch a bit of a bid. And really what people are freaking out about are the yield rates right now in Japan. Now, will it become a bigger issue? Maybe, but I feel like the fact that we've talked about this story so many times means that if it were to go awry, the big players with the big money are in one way or another probably already protected. So I really don't think that this yen carry trade blowing up is going to be growing into the biggest deal ever. Obviously, I might be wrong, but just the fact that we're here talking about it and we've already talked about it so many times makes me reasonably believe that if it were to go awry, people are probably already like properly protected. I need a massive crash, Matt. Well, I unfortunately am not the one in control of do we have a massive crash or not, but I don't know. We're going to be finding out. As always, I think it's far more important to play it from level to level. Don't be married to your bullish bias or your bearish bias. Whatever is an appropriate time frame for you, whether you're day trading, scalp trading, swing trading, longer duration swing trading, or investing, use the time frames that are appropriate to you and your trading and trade with the trend of that particular time frame and the related time frames. So obviously, if you're day trading, yeah, you might want to take into consideration the fact that we did dip, but even that day trading, the 5 minutes already going back bullish, the 10 minutes testing right now, the 30 minute isn't that far away from going back bullish, and the 4 hour is bullish. So even things like that. And hey, I'm there with you. Sometimes it is really easy to get zoomed in and you're paying attention to like little short-term movement relative to your time frame that just like it really doesn't matter that much. And I get it. We all have that problem, and maybe we all see things that aren't there. Maybe they are there, like this, that, the other thing. But when in doubt, take a breather. Obviously, let cooler heads prevail because that's how you're going to make money in the market. But let me do my job and set you up for a little bit of more of that medium term. I want to remind you that the month of December, pretty much all the way until mid-January, historically over the past 20 years, does favor the bulls. People refer to this as the Santa Claus rally, the natural proclivity for the market to kind of skew to the upside in the final trading portion of the year. And in fact, it actually does last until about halfway through the new year. So I want to put that on everyone's radar. Obviously, it's not the end all be all, but we're here to ideally have the proper bet sizing to survive variance, but also play with a positive expected value. So just generically from a seasonality standpoint, if you're looking for positive expected value for the remainder of the year and really into the part of the new year, yeah, it does historically play to be bullish, but I want to guarantee that is not I want to be very clear, that's not a guarantee for this time around. Even right here on Edgeful, this is last 5 years worth of data. You could see December and January do favor the bulls. And then if we look at the weekly, this week is bullish, next week is bearish, and then it gets into more of that bullish skew. So obviously you can get as fine, like granular data as you want, all the way from the yearly to the quarterly to the monthly to the weekly to the daily. Hell, you could probably even start to split it up per time frame intraday trading. So I just wanted to take that quick step back and let you know that right now, yes, you should be considering the seasonality. And right now, this time of the year, yeah, bulls do tend to win. Now, this time around specifically is going to most likely be more heavily impacted by monetary policy, specifically here in the U.S. And this is going to most likely be the biggest thing of the month. Unfortunately, it's not this week, it's next week. Where do the Fed voters stand on the December rate cut? Well, right now, the market is very, very confident that we will, in fact, be getting a 25 bips rate cut in the next FOMC meeting, which once again is next week. It is not this week. But anyway, looking at call sheet, there is an 89% chance as of this moment that we will be getting that 25 bips rate cut. And remember, part of the reason why the market's been rocketing lately, well, this happened exactly in an overlap with the market becoming more confident of a 25 bips rate cut. So the fact that we're getting the 25 bips rate cut is part of the reason why equities exploded. It's part of the reason why Bitcoin had this recovery. The market obviously just pricing in the fact that it is a fan of the cheaper capital. And I should be clear, it's not just call sheet, even poly market. Roughly the same odds, 89% chance, that's this orange line on the top, that we will be getting the 25 bips rate cut in that meeting. So at this point, it's pretty confident, as in the market as a whole, everyone paying attention to this is pretty confident. So then the logical question from there, and we could revisit this when the time gets closer, the logical question is, okay, if we already know that we're going to get a 25 bips rate cut on December 10th, that's the next FOMC meeting. The question from there is like, okay, what's going to move the market? Why are we going to have such a dramatic reaction? And really the direct answer to that is you have to see, was it a unanimous vote? Was there dissenting votes? And more importantly, what is the commentary from Powell in his press conference following it, and is he leaning a little bit hawkish? Is he leaning a little bit dovish? So I just want to remind you, there's a lot of things that move the market beyond just like what in the world is happening with the actual monetary policy decision. There's a lot more going on. So that's going to be the big thing of the month to pay attention to. So mark your calendars for December 10th. But between now and then, there are other things to watch. Trump says he has made his choice for the lead of the Federal Reserve. So maybe going into this, there is a chance that the administration, specifically Trump, might want to take the wind out of Jerome Powell's sails as we get closer. No one's really going to care about what Jerome Powell has to say if there's a new person who's already been, like, their name is kind of floated, and you're about to find out it's most likely Hassett, who is a current member of the administration. But anyway, no one's really going to care what Jerome Powell has to say when we know that his term is up in May. And if there's a new guy coming in, well, reporters are going to care a lot more about what he has to say, because we're getting an idea of where we're going, where once again, we know Jerome Powell's term is coming to an end. Anyway, this is what Trump had to say about the Federal Reserve Chair decision.
Are you Fed Chair? Are you any closer on that right now?
I know who I'm going to pick.
Don't tell me Kevin Hassett.
I'm not telling you.
President Trump teasing about his pick for the next Fed chair after he signaled he wants someone who will more forcefully pursue rate cuts. Bloomberg's Jonathan Tamari joins us now from Washington. Jonathan, the consensus seems to be around Kevin Hassett. Is it a done deal that it's likely to be Kevin Hassett now, and would he get nominated easily?
So it's certainly pointing in that direction. The caveat, as always, with President Trump is that we know he's someone who is not averse to changing his mind at the last minute, to throwing a curveball at the entire country. So we don't know until the announcement is actually made, but things are certainly pointing in that direction. We've seen generally President Trump's nominees get a favorable response from the Senate. Kevin Hassett, someone who's been around a long time, a lot of senators know him. I will say there's been a little bit more independence from Republicans in Congress lately, but I don't think this will be the issue where they probably draw a line. I think if it's Hassett, he probably does get confirmed with Republican support.
Okay, and how long would that process take, Jonathan?
It could take a little while. We know that the nomination is due sometime this month, so we're within weeks, but exactly how long it would take afterwards, I would expect the Senate would move quickly early next year, but they're probably, they're scheduled to be out through the last 2 weeks of this year, so it certainly wouldn't happen until January at the soonest.
All right, so we're going to be finding out most likely this month, and kind of looking at the odds here from November 25th to at some point on November 25th, Christopher Waller and Kevin Hassett. Kevin Hassett is the National Economic Council. He's an advisor in one way or another for the administration. Christopher Waller is already a member of the Fed. He is a voting FOMC member. You can see on the 25th of November, they were roughly the same odds. Then something must have been announced or leaked that the odds dramatically changed. And then all of a sudden, Waller went down and Hassett went up. And then fast forwarding to pretty much right now, well, technically last night, you could see once again Hassett going from 57 all the way up to 73 while everyone else is dropping out. So at this moment in time, there's a 74% chance that Kevin Hassett is the next Fed chair. And then Kevin Warsh has 11% chance, and then Waller 8% chance. But most likely it's going to be Hassett. And as you just heard from that Bloomberg piece, we're probably going to be finding out in the next couple of weeks, but don't really necessarily hold your breath on it happening this particular week. But who knows? I think this one is going to be a political play of, as I was alluding to before, do they want to take the wind out of Jerome Powell's sails, as in make it so whatever he's going to say in the next FOMC press conference, well, you could pretty much completely murk it and make sure no one cares by announcing the next person beforehand. So we've seen this before. It's kind of like the shadow Fed chair, where there's an existing Fed chair, but the next one is already announced. And what it does in this awkward situation is, even though some guy still fully has all that power being chair, the world, the market, media only cares about what the next person really has to say, because they're the one about to take the reins. So just wanted to clarify of, it has happened. It hasn't happened that many times, but we have seen it historically. So I just want to put that on everyone's radar. I should also talk about this. U.S. says Ukraine talks productive as Witkoff heads to Russia. I don't know how big of a deal this might or might not become, so I just wanted to put it on everyone's radar. Of course, it could have lasting impacts, or it could be a nothing burger, but it does seem as if we're getting painfully drug across the line to end this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So obviously it's going on way longer than anyone wants it to, but we are getting closer. So I just wanted to call this out because it might become a thing.
It's not just about the terms that ends fighting. It's about also the terms that set up Ukraine for long-term prosperity. I thought we started laying the groundwork for that, most certainly in Geneva. I think we continued that work in our communications throughout the week. I think we built on that again today, but there's more work to be done. This is delicate, it's complicated, there are a lot of moving parts, and obviously there's another party involved here that'll have to be a part of the equation and that'll continue later this week when Mr. Witkoff travels to Moscow.
For more on this, let's bring in Bloomberg's chief Europe correspondent, Oliver Crook, from
Crook.
Brussels. So, Ollie, what is the latest in terms of the US-Ukraine talks? What came out of these meetings?
So as you heard from Marco Rubio, the progress had been made, but again, as we say, there's still a lot of work to be done. So that Thanksgiving deadline that we had originally set for last week, we've obviously blown past that, and so we're going to focus our attention on a few of the diplomatic events that will be happening this week. Today, we expect Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, to be in Paris to meet with Emmanuel Macron. Here in Brussels, the European defense ministers will meet on Wednesday. We expect Marco Rubio to actually make a trip over here to Brussels to meet with NATO foreign ministers to have discussions here in the sort of NATO meeting. But of course, many of these sort of proposals that were laid out in that original plan, that 28-point plan, include both the Europeans and NATO without really their input into that discussion. So it'll be a key moment here for the Europeans to talk to the U.S. Secretary of State and try to get their sort of their desires and their ambitions and what they'd like to see in this deal before the United States. We should say that all of this will be sort of preceding potentially that visit from Steve Witkoff. We don't know yet exactly when he'll be arriving in Moscow. There were some reports that he may leave as early as today, but I'm sure that is still a work in progress. We should say overall, Tom, since we got that 28-point plan and then that was reduced to what we understand a 19-point plan, we have not seen that living document. So we do not know yet, because this is now being done very much behind closed doors, how far apart the sides are on these issues of territory, on these issues of security guarantees. And that is obviously the absolute key, Tom, in trying to appraise how much progress is being made here. We hear that there is progress being made, but at this stage, we don't really know what this plan looks like. Of course, the key concerns for the Ukrainians, the thing that they will be sort of encouraged by is that it's actually Marco Rubio that's sitting at the other side of the table, who has a much more traditionalist view of geopolitics, much more ideological, much more principled, particularly when it comes to the Russian threat. The bad news for the Ukrainians is, of course, their delegation head on Friday resigned, Andrei Yermak, the number 2 in Ukraine, after he was sort of ensnared in these investigations into corruption. And we should say that nothing has been leveled against him yet, but his office and his home were both searched, so he resigned on Friday to Zelensky.
Wow,
yeah,
you don't
significant,
say
of course, domestic story for Ukraine, but percolating out to these negotiations with that impact, of course, in terms of the focus on the corruption scandal in Ukraine. EU defence ministers then meeting in Brussels today, Ollie. Presumably, these peace discussions are going to be a central part of that conversation. What are you expecting to hear from that meeting?
Certainly. In attendance will also be the Ukrainian Defense Minister, Denis Shmyhal, who will be discussing with the European defense ministers a little bit further today. We expect them to bring up, obviously, Ukraine, their own sort of defense within the European continent, the hybrid threats that the Russians have been posing. Remember, there was an explosion that the Polish Prime Minister designated as sabotage just 2 weeks ago on domestic Polish soil. So that is going to be part of the conversation. But I think, Tom, the concern for the Europeans from the very beginning and sort of their influence over this is that it is very, very limited. And for the Ukrainian defense minister who will be here, he may not get much more than just sort of positive reassurance and positive rhetoric from the Europeans. When you look at the actual diplomatic side of things, what happened over the weekend? We had Viktor Orban in Moscow talking with Vladimir Putin, and we've also had the Belgians over the last few days really digging in on this idea that they were not really open to figuring out what to do with these Russian assets, saying that maybe, we should actually wait and see, and that actually now that there are these peace negotiations, it's actually a very delicate time, and maybe we shouldn't be touching these Russian assets. So as far as actual support that would help buttress the Ukrainian position, I wouldn't be too optimistic from the meetings today, other than potentially the rhetoric. I doubt this is going to be a major breakthrough meeting for the Ukrainians in their negotiations and what the European influence can actually be in these talks.
There you have it. In terms of the larger things going on right now, number one, as of this morning, you have renewed fear of this concept of the yen carry trade blowing up. If you ask me, the market is overreacting the way it has previously. And my reasoning for this is, you could look into the nitty gritty of what the yen carry trade is and the details. But my argument is very simple. The fact that we're here talking about it, the fact that this has happened before, tells me that large money, which is what you need to get blown out to have an outsized reaction, tells me that they're a little bit better prepared for it this time around. Number two is what's going on with monetary policy here in the US. And we're going to get a big update next week on December 10th. But going into it, there could be some market impact based on does the administration announce who's going to be the next chair or not. But I should make it clear the odds right now are pretty sizable that we are getting a 25 bips rate cut, and also pretty sizable that Kevin Hassett will be the next Fed chair. Excuse me. And then also in terms of large things going on, Ukraine, Russia, kind of both being brought to the table, kicking and screaming. So hopefully globally, this ends up being a solid resolution. But once again, I feel like we've been talking about this endlessly since 2022. So maybe it comes to an end. I'm not necessarily holding my breath on it getting resolved like today, but hopefully, obviously, sooner rather than later. Now, diving into today, there are some major macroeconomic events right here, Monday, December 1st, 9:45. 15 minutes into the trading day, we're getting some manufacturing PMI numbers. And then at 10 a.m., we're getting more PMI and price manufacturing data. And then later on this evening, 8 p.m. tonight, Fed Chair Powell will be speaking. So I wanted to put that out there. Those are all the major things going down today. And well, I guess a little bit of post-market trading. Tomorrow, we're getting JOLTS job openings, some more job information. Wednesday, we're getting more employment, ADP, non-farm employment change, and then also some more PMI and prices. Thursday, the normal initial jobless claims. And then Friday, to wrap up this week, the first trading week of December at 10 a.m., we're getting some inflation numbers. So basically this week, it's not the craziest macroeconomic week we've ever had, but we are getting important stuff. And more specific to today, I just wanted to let you know that if you're trading at market open, don't be surprised if the market has a little bit of craziness right at 9:45 and then again at 10 a.m. With respect to individual equities, technically we're in earnings season, but it gets really quiet right now. We're getting closer to that break. After the market closes tomorrow, you might care about GitLab, you might care about CrowdStrike. On Wednesday, maybe you care about Dollar Tree, Macy's, Salesforce, Snowflake, C3 AI. Thursday, Kroger, Dollar General. After market closes same day, DocuSign, Ulta Beauty. Those are some names that I've in chat seen you guys chit-chatting about here and there. So I just wanted to put that out there. Once again, we're in earnings season, but people don't really consider this to be the hottest time for earnings season. So I just want to let you know. And even though it does have earnings, we got some big news on Intel. Intel stock holds 10% rise after analyst predicts major Apple deal. So once again, a lot of these companies, especially in the tech sector, are related to any big business announcements, especially as it relates to AI and these partnerships. So I just wanted to call out Intel. Personally, I have no position in it right now, but once again, it's the one that I see you guys chit-chatting about. I've already seen some people comment on it this morning. So I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. And with that being said, we should probably get a little bit ready for market open. You can see we are red across the board for pre-market. SPY, Qs, Russell, even Bitcoin's down, volatility's up. So right now, we're basically, I know if you're this zoomed in, it looks crazy, but I just want to remind you that if we were to open right now, we're basically at 6,800. So we are right where my cursor is. So after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row, we're giving a little bit of this back, and we're just basically coming to an interesting point of equilibrium where we have both an upside gap fill to 6,819 and a downside gap fill to 6,776. Those are going to be my two major levels to pay attention today, among some other things going on. But once again, you have a gap to the upside and a gap to the downside. We are scheduled to open at 6,800. There's a gap 20 points higher and then a gap 25 points lower. There's actually a shot we fill both today, but I just wanted to put that on your radar, especially with those announcements coming out at 9:45 and then again at 10 a.m. So I get it. I see that there is red here, but I find this is like, I guess it's a pet peeve of mine. As soon as there's a little bit of red, all of social media, all of mainstream media, it just, everyone freaks out. Why is it so red? What in the world's going on? Folks, when in doubt, zoom out. This is a reasonable pullback. There's no reason to freak out. If we snap the 50 EMA again, maybe that's something to chit chat about. But at this moment in time, we are perfectly fine. I know the market's about to open, so feel free to write down these key levels of the day. Hang on one second. Ding, 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 ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, so we're opening up, like I said, right around 6,800. We're opening up right at a key level. Not only 6,800, a key technical level, psychological level, and gamma level, it happens to be right where we're seeing the south side of the iron condor today. So as you can see on your chart, this is the first time in a hot minute that Captain Condor is officially back. There's a put credit spread down here, 6,810, and then there's a call credit spread all the way up at 6,875. Remember, an Iron Condor is kind of a bet that we are within this region. So, hang on, I just did something. How do I reset this? Uh-oh, I broke something. Do I just have to reload? I accidentally zoomed in when I should not have. How do I get out of this? Help. Here, let me just reload it. Hopefully. Okay. You can see... You can see in the top of your screen, I went the wrong way, right here. This is the call credit spread, which is a neutral to bearish bet. They're betting on it being under 6,875. And then on the bottom of your screen, where we're closer to in price right now, is 6,810. This is a put credit spread, which is a neutral to bullish bet. So they're betting on it being above. Well, when you simultaneously have a bet above 6,810 and a bet below 6,875, it's kind of a box position. So this position is looking for us to conclude the day somewhere within this region, below 6,875 and above 6,810. Are they right? Are they wrong? Obviously, your guess is as good as mine, and we're going to find out. But that's exactly why this white box is the transition zone. Whenever you see such a large play like that, that's actively in the market, obviously bullish above, choppy within, bearish below. We are opening up below. We're opening up more at this key level. And so I'm expecting maybe a touch and a bounce. Who knows? Maybe it wants to go right for this downside gap fill at, once again, 6,776. Maybe we hit that bounce. Maybe we just catch ourselves at 6,800, go up to 6,819. That's the upside gap fill. Right now, when we're this close to both an up and a downside gap fill, we're starting a new month, a new week, and obviously we're just getting out of the gate today where we have announcements at 9:45, we have announcements at 10 a.m. This is a telltale sign, especially when there's a little bit of frothiness in the market, when there's not as high as stability. There's only 4% stability. That tells me that larger ranges are to be expected. This is that telltale sign to just kind of chill. Like, let's just wait and see what kind of trends actually developing. But overall, these are the key levels I'm using today. If you want to use my levels, have at it. If you don't, if you think you have better levels, hey, I wish you the best of luck. But overall, the transition zone is large today because of Captain Condor right there, 6,875 down to 6,810. And I want to let you know, this position can change throughout the day. Obviously, this is just what's live as of now at market open, but I do want to let you know that this is dynamic. It's the market, the way you and I can trade. Whoever these players are, they can trade as well. So I just want to let you know about that. But anyway, these are my key levels. Obviously, if we break out and above, 6,900 would be a main bullish target. However, if we don't recapture this, or if we get the upside gap fill and start to fail, then I'd look at 6,800. Below that, you have the low from 2 trading sessions ago, 87, and really you have the downside gap fill closer to 6,775. So obviously, bull case, bear case, and let's just see which way we could play today. Let's see if we can get on the right side of whatever trend actually exists. But I very, very much want to remind all of you, if you're coming in every single day arbitrarily thinking today has to be bullish, today has to be bearish, I just, on an active trading basis, I just disagree with you. I deeply believe that you have to understand on any given day, anything can happen. So have your bull case, have your bear case, and whichever one seems to be the one playing out, we'll see if you could take advantage of that with a lower risk entry opportunity. But I am seeing a lot. Wow, MSTR is getting clocked in pre-market trading. I got out of my puts last week on this one, and I'm now kicking myself because this thing is just getting hit. Vago's taking a pretty serious hit as well this morning. Wow. There's definitely a lot of red over here. But remember, we're just getting kicked off. I mean, there's a lot of people who are probably playing this upside gap fill. Once again, that is to 6,819. If you did this dip buy at 6,800 and you played up for those 20 points, that's probably your perfect play of the day. You can get that fill and probably move on and, go for a quick little early lunch break. Of course, between now and then, I'm going to show you the options flow. We can see who's bullish, who's bearish. We're going to see either the aggression on one side or the other. The SPY took a little bit of a hit for the first 2 minutes, now going flat. Once again, this is the delta flow, the measurement of the bullish and or bearishness of the options trades. And then we're seeing a similar situation in the Mag 7. So we took a little bit of a hit till 9:32 coming out of the gate. That was this choppiness. And then ever since then, we're getting a pretty decent recovery. I think this is the perfect situation, the perfect time to just kind of wait, relax, chill. We don't need to rush anything. If anything, what I should be doing is reminding you of today's stream partner. Shout out to Public. Make sure you read that disclosure. Obviously, when you get involved with the markets, there is considerable risk, so you have to be mindful of that. But if you choose to get involved with the market, especially if you're in the world of options trading, in my humble opinion, Public is the best place for you to do it. And I know I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it another million times. There is no other brokerage on this planet, at least that that I know of that pays you a rebate every single time you trade an options contract. Doesn't matter if it's a call, doesn't matter if it's a put, doesn't matter if it's complex strategy or rather a simple strategy. You're going to get a rebate every single time you buy, every single time you sell. As in, if you get in and out at the same price, you're not break even. You're actually net ahead due to the rebate. So this is the only one I know of doing this. When you're trading stocks and ETFs, there are no commission fees or no per contract fees. So obviously, as a big option trader myself, this is really why I like it. But I should let you know, in terms of public, they also have stock trading. There's no payment for order flow. They have bond trading. They have crypto trading. They have AI asset generation, as in you can use AI to create your own trading strategies. They have a lot of great stuff going on. It is free to download. It is free to check out. I implore all of you watching this right now to at least create an account. Remember, it's acceptable to have multiple brokerages, and I'd be willing to bet that the longer you use it, you're going to realize, like me, that this is probably going to be your main home for trading. It is pinned to the top of chat. It is in the description of the video. Use that link because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. So if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, hey man, I've heard Matt pitch this a lot, this is the day to check it out. Remember, no harm, no foul to you. Use that link because then embedded in that link, you're going to start out at that higher rebate tier. And obviously, this is going to be the main place I trade because why would I not? With these rebates as an options trader, it's honestly a no-brainer. I don't really understand why people are heavily trading on other brokerages. And I think part of my suspicion is they just don't know that this is even available to you. So feel free to check it out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And I have a feeling as soon as you do, you're going to realize exactly why I like it so much. Speaking of trading out of the gate, SPY catching a bid, Q's catching a bid, Bitcoin catching a bid, and VIX is getting hit. It seems like we are very rapidly going for that upside gap fill. Once again, the upside gap fill is 6819.75. It is the low from Friday's session. And just so you know, there is a downside gap fill to the high from Tuesday's session at 6776.40. So we have an upside gap fill, we have a downside gap fill, and we also happen to be trading at a key technical psychological level of 6,800, and also this downsloping trend line where is it an actual breakout or do we need to have a pullback first? Obviously, time will tell. With respect to options flow, we are not looking the best. We actually took a hit on the Mag 7. We've been popping ever since 9:36. So the first 6 minutes, the options flow was definitely to the downside. And then looking at the SPY, we're getting a pretty decent recovery once again, roughly 6 minutes into the day. So the first 6 minutes, options were unloading. Price remains somewhat strong. And now we're at the point where price and options are starting to look good. Vol starting to take a hit. I wouldn't necessarily chase it at this moment just because your risk reward is a little wonky. There's a high chance, a high statistical likelihood on the first test of this upside gap fill, we get rejected, which means that if you're chasing here, well, your risk is all the way down at the intraday low. So in terms of a risk reward setup, I'm not the biggest fan of going long right now, but obviously price action is looking somewhat decent. 5 minute is now bullish, 10 minute is now bullish, even the 30 minute in the bottom left of your screen, the momentum on the 30 minute is starting to switch over. And now on the 4 hour, it's actually remained bullish this entire time. Once again, this is for the S&P 500. Looking at the NASDAQ, the 5 minute is bullish, 10 minute is testing. We're actually going to be closing right at that awkward in between. The 30 minute did go up. It did get rejected, and the 4 hour is still bullish. So the S&P 500 is showing a bit more strength on a relative basis to the NASDAQ. But even that, I mean, if we get one little push here, if we end up taking out the intraday high on both the SPY and the Qs, well, we're at the point where across the board, all momentum is bullish. And then obviously, if we see that with bullish options flow, well, that makes the play a lot easier. But I do want to let you know, I'm not quite seeing enough bullish options flow on the Mag 7. In fact, we just hit a new Delta low. So please, please, please be careful there, just because this might be one of those little fake outs, like we just pop up, get the upside gap fill. But I am seeing the delta start to drop here in the combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, aka the Mag 7. And what we're seeing is a very tiny amount of put buying, but more so you're seeing call selling. A lot of people are using this first little spurt of bearishness right here because we were bullish. We had 5 days in a row green. They're using this first little hit to the market, seemingly to lock in their profits because we are seeing some call selling right here. So just wanted to put that on everyone's radar that it's not legit bearishness. It's not like people are piling into puts right now, but they are locking in their calls. So if they have a lot to lock in, this could get ugly. if they only have a little bit to lock in, well, this might just be a momentary market open type of thing, and we could go from there, which is, of course, why we want to pay attention to what's going on with vol. We want to pay attention to these key levels. We want to pay attention to the upside gap fill. We want to pay attention to the downside gap fill. Should I sign up for Netflix just to watch Stranger Things? I don't think so. I actually think this is one of the weakest seasons of Stranger Things. And I'm not even saying that as a hater. Like, going into the show, I was really, really excited. I mean, I enjoy the show, and I don't know what in the world was happening with this particular season, but I think some of the writing, it was questionable, and some of the acting, dude, it is horrendous. And this is coming from a person who cannot act for shit. So I'm kind of disparaging myself here, but dude, it is just, I don't know, dude. It's maybe I'm wrong on this one. Maybe this is a hot take, and maybe you guys are big fans. But going into this, I want to be clear. Like, I rewatched the whole thing in excitement for this final season. Like, I was a fan of Stranger Things, and I don't know what the hell happened in this season, dude. I'm hoping as a fan of the show that for the second half of this season, if you guys don't know, only the first half of this season is out right now, and I think the second half comes out on December 25th. I think it comes out on Christmas. I'm hoping they can pull a magic U-turn here, but like, dude, I don't know. The writing was incredible. I mean, I guess we just disagree. I don't know. I think relative to the other seasons, this is the weakest one in terms of writing and in terms of acting. I'm not necessarily, I don't think it was bad. I think it's bad relative to the other seasons, but it's not so bad that I'd be like, I'm never watching this show. But I don't know. I guess, hey, that's the beauty of these types of things, is we can have our own thoughts and opinions. And if you want to watch it because you like it, hey, watch it because you like it. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to like or dislike something just because other people like or dislike it, you know? Bitcoin's taking a hit. How's the Russell looking? The Russell's trying to recover. Small cap is trying to put in a legitimate effort to pump right now. The SPY and the Qs are seemingly tied at the hips today. We are, no, not quite. I'm kind of watching this structure right here of, are we holding 6,800? We popped up into the transition zone. We did not get the upside gap fill. We got rejected out of there. We were basically battling it out at the top side of the put credit spread. Remember, a put credit spread is a vertical play where you're simultaneously selling one option and buying another. In this case, they sold the 6,810, betting that we would remain above it, and then they ended up buying the 6,805 for downside protection. Once again, it is a vertical. It is a PCS, a put credit spread. A put credit spread is a neutral to bullish bet. It's neutral to bullish because they get paid. You get 100% of this premium that you sold. It is a net credit situation for you. You get the full credit if you end the day above whatever one you sold. And here you sold the 6,810. So you get all that money. If you're way above it or a little bit above it, doesn't matter. You collect the full credit. And then up here, you have the call credit spread, which is a neutral to bearish position. And it's pretty much the inverse. They sold the 6,875, hoping that we would be below it. And then for protection, they have the 6,880. So they get the full money. They keep the full credit on this position if we conclude the day below 6,875. So when you put those together, well, you get the full credit above 6,810 and this credit below 6,875. So for them to get like the full credit from both of these, we just need to conclude somewhere within these purple bands, either below 6,875 and simultaneously above 6,810. So they have a 65-point region that they're looking for us to wrap the day up in. Now, just because someone put on a large play, does that mean that they're going to be right? God, no. There's been many, many times where we see the Captain Condor player getting blown out. And the reason for that, well, first of all, they're not like that advanced of like a hedge fund or something like that. It's actually just a large Discord. So they don't really have the most hardcore PhD level mathematician doing their trades for them. And really what they use is referred to as a martingale strategy. Once again, martingale, kind of like the bird. Whenever they're wrong, they just double the bet the next day. And they hope that they're just not wrong in so many successive trades that they end up blowing out their full account. So once again, it is a martingale situation, but we just got a little bit of a pop off the 945 ISM or S&P global numbers. ISM comes out at 10 a.m. But let's see if they have our boy Rick Santelli on. Oh, wait, what's this guy talking about?
Okay, so last
What's
question.
Jensen on?
Right now, we spent a lot of time talking about Google.
This could be important.
And what they're doing with their own TPU, and we talk about whether Meta will do it. But one thing that you taught me was you like to think 20 years forward and then backward. I'm thinking about Vera Rubin. I had to go read that Richard Feynman book because you mentioned
we are getting a pop off that 9:45 announcement. We're finding a double bottom at 6,800
right
here.
Guys had
1,
during that
2.
9-month window.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the one that gives us the pump up to 6,819.
We've been competing with ASICs now for quite a long time, and Google has had ASICs for a long time. NVIDIA, and they did a great job, as you know, and I've always been complimentary.
Right. Always.
What NVIDIA does is much more versatile. Our technology is much more fungible. Notice the announcement today. Accelerating Synopsys design tools, the EDA, the SDA, the CAE tools, requires a computer architecture like CUDA. It's not available for ASICs. And so NVIDIA can address markets that are much, much broader, not just chatbots. We're also everywhere. We're in every cloud. We're in every single OEM. We're on-prem. And we're also at the edge. And so the NVIDIA opportunity is much, much larger. And you're now seeing a real tangible example of an opportunity that we could do with our platform that nobody else can. And so this is a very big opportunity
AMD
for
trying
us.
to recover here.
Huge opportunity to reinvent the EDA industry, the design and engineering industry for Synopsys
5
and the
minute
rest
bullish,
of the
10 minute
industry.
bullish, 30
and a
minute
growth
pushing,
opportunity
4
for
hours
us
still
because this
bullish,
is so
5 minute bullish, 10 minute
intensive.
bullish, 30 minute
I was just thinking,
testing.
the classic book is Surely You're Joking, Mr.
Basically
Kleinman.
300,
Maybe it should
you
be
wanted to
Surely You're
hold
Joking.
above
Mr.
25,300.
Yes.
4 hours
Jensen
still bullish.
really helped. But Jensen, I didn't get to ask you about how none of your revenue includes China. Should I have just included
Mag
that
7
as a
flow
bullet point
not
that you
looking
can't
as
talk
strong
about
as you
what's going on?
want it to just arbitrarily chase
Kind
here.
of
Be
coda.
careful.
Well, you know, I would like everybody to just assume
up,
that China
looking a little
is
week.
a
Same with the
bonus
SPY.
opportunity in the future. At the moment, we got
I guess they're
plenty
not
of
bringing
our
on our
demand
boy
is
Rick.
really strong, as you know. Demand is really skyrocketing, and over the next couple of years, we've got a lot of demand we have to go serve. And if China comes along, which I believe is going to be in the best interest of the United States as well as China and the rest of the world, that's going to be a huge bonus opportunity for us.
All
right, we just got the upside gap
from
fill.
Synopsys, a great company.
Right there.
It was more than a
Bada
$30
bing,
billion
bada boom,
acquisition. They made
upside gap
advances.
fill
And Jensen Wong
achieved.
comes
So
on,
we
and
just hit the
Jensen,
low
I
value
can't thank
from
you
Friday.
enough for giving us the perspective that you gave me almost a decade ago that business consumers very interesting.
Hugh's got
focus
it
on
too.
business to business.
All
Thank
right,
you so
so
much.
first
gentlemen.
bullish target hit.
Thank you.
And then Russell's climbing as well.
That was good. I like the way
As
also
the
you
VIX
called it
is
AI
falling.
factories, just like Jensen does, not data
well,
centers.
Look, I'm a pupil. I mean, what am I like? No, I'm the guru. I mean, I just listen well.
And I'm glad you snuck in the China question too, because he's been an advocate for that view, and even these reports last week suggesting the Chinese continue to break
see if
away
it can
from
make a
some
higher
of the NVIDIA
low and
architecture.
maybe keep
I'm a
going
big
here.
believer that the way you dominate in the world
We
is
just
to
hit it.
have everybody write the software. And that those who think that I'm a globalist, which I've been attacked by some people in the administration,
It could get up to
misjudge the power of
31 on
having
the next
everyone
push.
write
I'm
on an
kind of watching
American
50.
chip, not a Chinese chip.
But I want to see the
So
option
did any of that
flow
alter
improve.
your thesis
SPY just got
on this
popped. All
build
right.
out, or certainly the portfolio man?
Those guys are getting annoying, sorry. So the Mag 7, even though price just really popped there because of the S&P numbers that we just got, the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, nice pop there. Please take note that the options flow didn't really follow suit. Puts remained flat. There was a little bit of call buying, but the Mag 7 really kind of non-impacted. And then looking at the S&P 500, we actually had a double bottom. We had this flow alert right before, as if someone already knows, and then boom, here at 9:46, a minute after, it really started to shoot up. Mainly, well, it's both. You have some call buying and you have some put selling, so it was kind of on both sides of the derivatives market right now. But really what that did for us was give us a nice pump to this upside gap fill on both SPX, NDX, SPY, QQQ. So we got one of the gaps filled, but I do want to remind you, if you are looking in the world of SPX, there is still a downside gap fill to 6776. And then if you're looking at NDX, did we actually, I think we technically hit it. And there was no. Ooh, sorry. I misspoke. NDX has a little bit more distance to go. So right now, the intraday high is 25,274. And you can see the low from Friday was 281. So there's a little bit of a gap to still go. And there is also still simultaneously this downside gap fill. So SPX doing its work and cleaning up one of the gaps. And then if you look at NDX, there's a downside gap fill, an upside gap fill, and actually another reach upside gap fill. Edit, crossing up, save. How do I update this? All right, just make it for the next year. Save. Is this just going to be annoying? Edit. All right. I don't know why they just arbitrarily delete that early. Anyway, there's an upside gap fill to all the way back from early November. There's one from Friday where it looks like we're going to that right now. And then there's also this downside gap fill that we have from Tuesday of last week. So NDX has 3 live gap fills. SPX, in terms of close proximity, just has 1. If you zoom out and you're like, hey, Matt, but did you look at this 6, 8, 10 months ago? Yeah, there are other gaps. I'm not saying they're the only gaps. I'm just talking about the gaps that are, once again, in close proximity. Close proximity. Looking at the flow, I would have taken a long trade if things improved. I don't know. The Mag 7's still a little questionable here. The S&P 500, it is improving. We're actually potentially going to be at a new Delta reading high. It really started to turn around at 946. 946. I keep looking over at this chart. Oh, bummer. What would my risk be? That's a little too large for me. The last dip, that's some good distance, brother. What's our flow looking like? Mag 7's flat. SPY is looking decent. SPY and Q's got their upside gap fill. VIX is starting to puke here.
Order submitted.
Hang on. My order is the wrong profit. Oh, how do I fix this one? Hang on. I messed something up. I remember this from Friday when I was trying to just get in my scalp trades. I messed something up. I tried to take a long position. I'm moving my profit target up. What do I want my risk to be? What is this? I need to be a robot, folks. A calm, cool, calculated robot. I am on the wrong screen. My apologies. Oop, right screen, wrong screen. Here we go. I wanted to get in here at 950 because we overshot VWAP. We retested VWAP. We seem to be trending up. I wish I was in at 07. Obviously, I waited for the next pullback and bounce. I'm long at 22. I'm risking that low. Like I said, I prefer this one. If we can get this break of 40 or 50, I'm just going to make it a freebie trade. And we'll see how it goes. Honestly, do I even want to maybe move it up to 10? I'm in the mode of, hey, it's the first day of a new month, a new week, of a new me, you know? And I'm trying to just see if I could play it. Look at all that, though. 47, 45, 50. That's a pain in the ass. You know what? First one out of the gate, let's make it a freebie trade. It's a freebie trade. If it works, great. Right now, I just arbitrarily have a target at 22, so we could go to 74. We'll undershoot potentially a psychological level by a point. So I'm thinking of the psychological level at 75, hence my profits at 74. And I believe if I do my math right, that should be $1,000 per account. But I want to clarify, just because, you know, it's a new month, a new week, a new me. My stop is already at break even. Already at break even. So I'm taking on no risk. Zero risk, not a risk. If it works, it works. If I want, I could trail it more aggressively and like guarantee myself some of the money. But you could see this is my first trade of the day, and we're going to see how it plays out. I would love for it to push right all the way up. What do we have over here? 674. Okay, what do we have over here? Honestly, I could probably even go for more. Yeah, but like I said, let's get one solid nice trade in. Let's not get crazy with it. Let's not get crazy with it. Out of my own curiosity, did any of you take a similar trade? Or actually, my real question is, were any of you really intelligent today and you bought the second bounce here off 6,800? Because if so, my hat's off to you. If you went long at 9:45 due to the market's reaction to that news, risking that swing low, and you're riding it up, that's a great trade. That's a phenomenal trade. Good risk management. You're playing with the trend. You're buying it off a key level. Like, I love it. Absolutely love it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Can we do it? 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 Can we do it?
Order filled.
That's how you start off a new month of trading, folks. Barely took any heat whatsoever. I was in at 22. My most heat was 12 points. I just locked it in for $1,000 per account, 15 accounts, 15 grand. And then I had accounts that I was trading at half size, obviously making 500 on each of those. So that's 2.5 plus the 15. So 17.5. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom, folks. I'm done. What? Like, this is the beauty of it. I don't even now feel that pressure to do anything else. That's good money. Yeah, maybe there's great other opportunities in the day. Maybe I should be trading it. But guess what? I'm not going to know about that because your boy is done. Clock me. It's time for lunch. We're only 27 minutes into the day. Dude, we're good. We're good. We're bueno. Chef's kiss. I don't care. Whatever happens now, it happens. Like, it's out of my control, folks. Like, it is what it is. I made my one good trade. That's solid money. I think, and maybe this is going to make sense to some of you. I hope it doesn't make sense to many of you, but I bet there's a trader or two in here that would make sense. There's too many trading days in my career that I've gone up good money. I make good money, and then somehow I give it all back. And what's crazy about it is not only is it a financial hit, but the fact that you overstayed your welcome means you burned a lot of your time too, in my opinion, the most important commodity. So not only are you burning your profits, but you're think about all that money that you burn. So like right here, yes, you could argue, Matt, if you keep trading, there's a chance that you could double or triple this. Yeah, there's also a chance that I could lose half of it. There's a chance I could lose all of it. There's a chance I could go into the hole by 1 or 2 or 3K. So at a certain point, like, why? Like, at a certain point, if you get in a good solid trade, especially like I really think it helps send up your mental sentiment for whatever else is coming. So for me, for the remainder of this week, if I do well on Apex, I'll be able to request at the end of this week. So really, I just need to trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So in my mind, okay, now I just have to trade for 3 more days and we're good to go. I mean, I could go trade options. I could go do this, that, the other thing. But like, why? I mean, it's one thing to take another shot and maybe try to get more money, but when you're up like that and it was relatively easy, I'm in and out before 10 a.m., folks. Like, it's such a good feeling, and now I can do what I need to. After the show today, I'm going to go hang out in the Goonie Trading Discord. I'm going to go make sure I got all the Black Friday deals that I needed to. Maybe I'm going to not be such a fat lard ass and go to the gym and crush the stair stepper. I think sometimes we really have to think about the emotional capital involved. I just made that money relatively easy. Now, I could trade again, and maybe it's a great trade. And I bet if I did trade, maybe there's a decent shot. Maybe there's a 60-70% chance that I make another $1,000, which would be sick. I agree. But you have to ask yourself, what would it do to your day, your week, your month, your mood, if all of a sudden you had such an easy trade and then you give it back and you're like, man, that was so stupid. I didn't really like the setup. What was I doing anyway? And then before you know it, you burn all day. You just sit at your screen from 9:30 to 4 and you burned all that time and you're fighting just to get out break even. And this is, I'm explaining it to you guys live from a person who did that on Wednesday. So right here, let me show you something. I'm not just preaching to the choir here, like right here, November 26th, Wednesday. So on my take profit accounts, I made some good money, 1.4, 1.5K each account. And then on all these, it looks like I just did a scalp trade. But what if I told you I was actually up 2K on all of these accounts? So once again, in terms of like you make money and then you feel so stupid giving it back, roughly halfway through the day, I was up 2K, which is double really what my target was. So I already overstayed my welcome, got lucky. It was a big win. And then you can see by the end of the day, it looks like I had a break even. I didn't have a break even. I actually went red, and it wasn't until a miraculous pump right after market close, I'm talking about post 4 p.m. Eastern, that I was trading way too big. I was able to get back to green on the day, and I had to turn it all off. So that's what I'm saying is like, if I just stopped it early, I would have had more money. I wouldn't have been stressing out, and I wouldn't have been putting myself at risk of doing something completely stupid. So this is a lucky beat, but I know it looks like I did a scalp trade. It wasn't a scalp trade. This was many, many, many trades, many, I guess, moments of me yelling at the screen, yelling at the markets, cursing my name, thinking that I'm incredibly, incredibly stupid. And like, it's just pure luck. So in an effort to not relive what I literally just had to do on Wednesday, I figured, all right, let's just be smart. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. And in reality, there's good setups here. I mean, if I had a fresh account, and actually I could, I'm supposed to trade a little bit more on these accounts because I'm below the consistency rule. So right here, I'm showing you all the Apex ones. I do technically, I think I need to get these up to 200 each for a consistency rule. If you look at it, I have these take profit accounts, and they're already at their profit goal, but I think one day I made 1,600 per account, and they have a 50% consistency. So technically I could, if I see another good setup, maybe I'll just take it on these accounts instead, just because I need to get one more trading day in, and technically I think I need to get a little bit more. But in terms of these Apex ones, hey, I feel like for these accounts, they're fresh. That's a good way to get out of the gate. The realized and the unrealized are the same. In terms of the big accounts, I'm just now one day closer to being able to do a request anyway. Like, I just, why ruin a good thing? Why ruin a good thing? So actually, if I do this, 548. And I think I have it. Hang on, I do need to edit this. What is 201? Okay, I needed to fix that. What was this? What did are you reading from my reading journal? Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm telling you guys, we all have a lot of the exact same problems. Matt, are you going to try to Lucid soon? No, because correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Lucid have a daily drawdown rule? Like, obviously there's max drawdown rules, but I thought Lucid, like, there's so many firms now, so once again, don't take what I'm saying as gospel, but I thought that was one of the ones that had an intraday drawdown rule, like a daily loss limit rule. Am I right on that with Lucid? Because if it is one of those, I think that is one of the most predatory rules in this particular world. I very, very much do. I actually think it's a disgusting rule. How do I want to do this? Remember the time that Matt made too much money, tried to lose it, and even made more? Yeah, not necessarily my finest moment. I'll be honest about that one. Have to kill me first. Good luck today, y'all. Gotta run. Dude, hope you made a bunch of money. Hope you already got yours and you're just moving on. Wow, all my accounts are getting slapped, not filling targets, even at plus 5 points. It might just be because things are moving too quick. Remember, just because a bar goes through a price, that doesn't actually mean that things were traded at that price. Okay.
Order submitted.
55 or 58, so 69. So to clarify what I'm doing right now, I'm trading on these accounts, but these right here, the fact that they start with PA means that their performance, as in they're already funded accounts, they are not in the eval stage. These ones, the fact I'm trading on TPT, the fact that they do not say pro means that they're still eval and they're not performance. And right now, I'm specifically trying to get one 10-point trade. And the reason I'm trying to get that 10-point trade is because I guess at some point last week, I made 1,600, and to pass their test, they have a 50% consistency rule. So all of my accounts need to say 3,200, which is why I'm in at 59 and I'm trying to get out at 69. I was trying to trade with trend. It feels like it's breaking down. I could give this a little bit of room. Obviously, I have quite a bit of buffer. I mean, I have 3K of buffer, so I could use that if I wanted. I'm hoping I don't have to, but I don't think there's necessarily anything special about the 69 level. I'm literally just using that because that's where I pass this consistency rule. Lucid does not have a DLL on Flex accounts. Oh, interesting. I'll look into it. I am more than happy to consider any of these accounts. To be completely honest with you, I find most prop companies to be very scammy, and I find the way I'm defining scammy in this situation is I think they have a set of rules that makes it basically impossible for you to do well. And I understand that all these firms want you to fail. I get that that's how they make money, but there's certain ones, especially the ones that have like bigger customer bases, so they have lower margin. I think they have a set of rules that it's at least somewhat possible for you to be successful. And I have no thoughts or opinions on Lucid. I know when it first came out, I looked into it and there was one rule I didn't like, but obviously because there's so much competition in this industry, I do admit that they're changing all the time, and I'm more than happy to reevaluate. And the same thing goes for the ones that I like. Right now, the main ones I use are Apex, Take Profit Trader, and Funded Futures Network. If they start to do things that I don't like, I have no loyalty to them. I have no special contract with them. I can leave them as early as tomorrow. So I just want to make it like very, very clear. You should not have loyalty to any of these firms. Wherever you think you have the best chance of being successful, that's the one you should use, and understand that that situation is dynamic. Sometimes you're making money, sometimes you're losing money, but it's an incredibly dynamic industry. So it's not one of these things that you like make an opinion and you just like hold on to that for the remainder of your life. But I can tell you, as of today, December 1st, 2025, I use Apex, I use Take Profit Trader, and I use Funded Futures Network. And hey, someone is in here recommending that I check out Lucid. And then there was another one last week that you guys were recommending I check out. Alpha Futures? Alpha something. Does anyone know what I'm talking about, or am I losing my mind? Alphabet? Alfalfa? Al Capone? Alpha? Is Alpha Futures one? I swear it's Alpha Futures. Maybe I'm losing my mind. There is a non-0% chance that I'm just like legitimately losing all my mind. But anyway, that's what I needed to do here to beat the consistency rule. Like I said, I only wanted 10 points because there was no advantage of me going for more than that. I just needed to get a certain profit ruled to hit their consistency. So folks, I'm done on the day. I'm happy with all my Apex accounts. I'm happy with all my Take Profit accounts. Maybe if I get bored later on today, I'll go buy some Funded Futures and fuck off with them. But dude, I'm not going to look this golden opportunity in the face and say, I want more. I mean, dude, it's literally, I've only been at work for 38 minutes. It is 10:08 in the morning. I just have no reason to be doing anything silly at this point. Vol is getting crushed. We're almost at the Orbo high here. Blue. I'm watching the Orbo high on the SPY and the Qs. Yes, sir, Rebabo. How far did we dip? 895. Interesting. Do I want to do a little bit of a premium trade today? Look at VIX just collapsing. Nvidia is already green on the day, maybe because of that conference with Jensen. Bitcoin. Tesla's green on the day. Tesla's daily chart. I just want to throw this out there. That's a decent recovery, folks. I mean, look at this. It got hit, was down there for about 2 weeks, recovered the EMA cloud. It's fighting like no other. In terms of risk reward, you can risk 417, you could risk 406, 400 flat, whatever it is. But Tesla's making a fight back. Nvidia might be there pretty soon. I'm watching for the capture, the recapture of the 50 EMA. Google hit an all-time high on Tuesday of last week. Avago hit an all-time high on Friday. Palantir, maybe similar to Tesla. Tesla's a couple of days ahead of it, but Palantir, I'm looking for that recapture of 174, 175. MicroStrategy's getting destroyed. This one's just getting absolutely pummeled. Meta, maybe on the start of its recovery tour. Microsoft, would love to see it push up to 505. Apple making an all-time high on Tuesday of last week. AMD also maybe a little fake out breakdown. Look for that recovery in the hold of the cloud. We might have some opportunity here. All right, here's a quick look at flow. Ever since 944, but really evident at 953, we're starting to recover. So the Mag 7 is finally catching a bid, which is what I was looking for. But oddly enough, we peaked on the S&P 500 right when we overshot that upside gap fill. And then since then, we have some, people are dumping their calls. I guess right here, what you're seeing is this green line drop. That is 0 DTE S&P 500 calls. When that is dropping, yes, they might be selling to open. They might be selling to close. It's probably selling to close. And this is now an assumption, like we don't have the exact data to back this up, but if I had to make a guess here of what this is people who are probably feeling bad they didn't take their profits when they should have on SPX. They're probably thinking, okay, it pumped up. We got the upside gap fill. We hit another key level. This is the high from, I want to say Wednesday. So we hit that. They probably saw the pullback and then, it double topped. And it's a game of hot potato. They probably just didn't want to be holding on to those 0 DTE calls. So they're probably dumping it a little bit right there. So when they dump it, maybe there's going to be another round of people coming in. Maybe they're going to pick a better strike or something like that. But if I had to guess what that is starting at 10:08, I would strongly argue that it was these people who started to say, do we miss out on this opportunity? Should we have taken our profits up there on this double top? I think they were hoping for the breakout. It didn't come. They panicked a little bit. That's probably what it is. And now that's leading to the retest of what used to be the upside gap fill, aka the low from Friday's trading session, which was a half day of trading. So I don't know, the stats might get a little weird surrounding that type of stuff, but the Qs are pretty much knocking on the door of the 30-minute Orbo breakout, a follow-through from that upside gap fill. The NASDAQ is right there, too. Tesla's catching a bid. How's Tesla looking individually? Tesla, right here. Tesla, same thing. 953 to now. That's a very nice recovery. While we're here, AMD is getting clocked. Apple is flat. Broadcom is flat. Coin is flat. CoreWeave is actually decent recovery. Hood pretty much flat. Microsoft pretty much flat. MicroStrategy kind of down, kind of flat. Meta, nice recovery ever since 950. Netflix, nice recovery ever since 944. Nvidia, decent recovery 945 and then again at 1003. Oracle, all over the map. Palantir, decent. Palantir's looking good. Tesla did get hit. Nice recovery since 953. And Google was flat, got hit, flat again. Is Powell speaking today? Yes, but it's after the market closes. He's speaking at 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. ET tonight. So it's not during quote unquote normal trading hours, regular trading hours. Folks, if you haven't already, shout out to Public. They are today's stream partner. This is where I do my option trading. In my humble opinion, it is the best place to be an option trader because there's no other firm I know of that pays you a rebate to be doing trading. So you could earn a rebate on every single time you buy or sell a put, every single time you buy or sell a call. You get even more if you're doing more complex strategies like iron condors or, I don't know, some fancy zebra or this or that or ratio. I don't know. But you're going to be getting a rebate on every single contract you trade. So that's why you should check them out. And then when you get there, you're going to realize that it's just a great brokerage to be on that puts you, the trader, first. So check it out. It is free to download. It is free to sign up. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that link because you will be starting off at a higher rebate tier. So if you want to start earning more money more rapidly based off your trades, use that link and that'll just bring you to the download page. Fed is in a blackout, so might not be that exciting. Yeah, I'm not expecting the most of it. Let's look at Fed. Hang on. Right here. This is what I wanted. Nope, that is not what I wanted. Calendar. This is what I wanted. December. Okay, so at 8 p.m. tonight, Chair Jerome Powell, brief remarks and panel discussion with Michael Boskin and Condoleezza Rice on George Shultz and his economic policy contributions. It's at the Hoover Institute. It's a memorial lecture, so I don't think it's going to be anything too special. But once again, it is at 8 p.m. tonight, but it looks like he's kind of like introing it. I don't think it's going to be like a hardcore discussion about like, this is what we're doing. Because as Seth pointed out, and shout out to 41 months, dude. Seth, what a guy. As he's astutely pointing out, there's probably nothing too special going on at 8 p.m. tonight in this speech. But hey, just want to put it on your radar because that's what I get paid the big bucks to do, is keep you guys informed. Whoa. My cat is freaking out. Do you guys want to see Piper? She's crying. Piper's crying at the door. I think she wants to see you guys. Hang on. Piper. What's up, girl? What's up, girl? Are you crying? Are you crying? You want to see the street? We got Piper. We caught ourselves a wild Piper. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to say Happy Thanksgiving? Do you have anything to say to people? You were crying a lot. Oh, she just hates closed doors. Have you guys noticed that certain cats just completely hate closed doors? Like the second the door's closed, she's like, that's unacceptable. Like honestly, she only likes closed doors if she closes them herself. She loves to run up behind a door and like kind of push it and shut it closed. But even then, sometimes she's like, I don't like it anymore. And then she'll just sit there and cry until the door is open. But she hates closed doors. She is not in really to the world of privacy at all. She's like, nope, can't have that door shut. That's an issue. That's a problem we have. Oh, brother. All right. Well, we did get the 30-minute Orbo breakout on the Qs here, right? You could see at 10:13, we did break the first half hour high, and the SPY is not that far away. SPX, we're finding support for the second time right here. Rejection, breakout, pop up, pull back, pop up, pull back, pop up, pull back. So right now people are just reacting to that low value from Friday, which has obviously become somewhat of an important pivot level for the day. So watching that. I watched Matt for about 1 year before I even joined the Discord, and I've been in Discord since 2020. Dude, shout out to Seth. Shout out to Seth. I know a lot of you have been here for a hot minute. And it makes my heart all warm and tingly. I can't have doors because of my kittens. They attack, then open them. Yeah, dude. Cats. One of the doors in my place, it's not a knob. It's like a lever thing. And she'll just jump up and she kind of like puts her paws together. And then when she falls, she just like opens doors now. Obviously not turn doors, but it's kind of jarring when you think your door's shut and you just hear like a thud against your door, and then it just opens and you feel like you're about to get like assassinated, and then it just turns out to be your own cat. So I would recommend to anyone who is looking to spice up their life and get random anxiety attacks, get yourself a cat. Do you know what's that commercial for? What's that, like, first they're sour, then they're sweet? Is that just Sour Patch Kids? There is no other animal on this planet that perfectly embodies the concept of first they're sour, then they're sweet, because your cat will terrorize you all day. You'll be trying to sleep and they'll attack your feet. They'll run all over you. They'll scream. They'll freak out, and you'll get so angry and you'll sit there just like completely defeated, exclusively desperation. And then they just come up and cuddle on you and start purring. It's just gaslighting. If you want something like a little micro panther to gaslight you, to embody that candy of first they're sour, then they're sweet, get yourself a cat, because you're just, throughout the entire day, you're just being perpetually gaslit. Does Piper try to attack your feet at night? Dude, it's her favorite pastime. That's what she loves to do. She just like exclusively finds my feet, not my wife's feet. She finds my feet, and she's like, hey, you know what would be cool is if at 2 a.m. I just quad these like right now. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. All right, so I've kind of done my day trades, but if you're looking for something, I would watch this trend line. The Qs have already broken to the upside on theirs, but wait, where's my Vanquish account? I can still trade this. Vanquish. Web trader. Hang on, I'm logging into my Vanquish account because I might take this trade right here because I like the risk reward. The reward's all the way up here. The risk is relatively close. Okay, we did this. All right, I got I believe I'm on the right account. What are we on? SPX 0 DTE. We are currently trading at 2122, so I'm going to do the 30. I'm not doing the order yet. I'm just getting it ready because I want to get it on the breakout. And I just like the risk reward setup, and it's with trend, which I believe gives me a little bit of an edge. But I have that ready. I just wanted to show it to you. I have not executed the trade yet. How is our flow looking? Mag 7, it did pop, pulled back a little bit. SPY, we're seeing some call selling. I'd prefer to see this turn around before I throw out my trade. I'm just getting it ready. Just getting her ready. I want to see this delta. Hey, what's going on, Piper? Piper got nervous. She hasn't seen you guys in a bit, so she wanted to say hi, and then she, I don't know, all those eyeballs looking at her, she freaked out a little bit. All right, so if we can hold this support and start to bounce and break this trend line, that's when I'm executing my trade. Have not done it yet. I just have a market order ready to buy to open 10 at 6830, which maybe I should change that to 268. I'm thinking about 25 instead. 6825, 68225. Yeah, I like 25 a little bit better. A little range bound here. Which way will it break? Right now, we're getting beat up. We just hit a fresh delta low. Calls are still getting... Ooh, they even started buying puts. So right here at 1020, they started to buy 0 DT puts and sell even more 0 DT calls to a considerable size. We just got a flow alert as well. So whenever you see a flow alert, remember on Spot Gamma, that's not necessarily bullish or bearish. What it means is someone is trading with abnormal size. So it's kind of like, hey, pay attention. Please don't interpret a flow alert to be bullish or bearish. It means pay attention because someone is moving some size. Tesla's still looking good. Nvidia holding green. Rumble had a good week last week. How's Rumble doing? Giving a little bit back right now. Did the short interest increase again on Rumble? I've been watching it and it's been nonstop since September. Shorts. Once again, this is for RUM. It is a little bit higher, 24.66%. Cost to borrow is going up. The utilization is maxed out. The short score is climbing like no other. Potentially up to 53 million shares short, but Ortex is estimating it's 27, but it could be as high as 53. Wow, the bet just keeps going higher and higher. The average cost to borrow on the day is 32%. Look at that. The short interest just climbing. The short interest value just climbing. Shares on loan just climbing. Utilization maxed out after climbing. And the cost to borrow really started picking up in mid-November. It's just skyrocketing here. Something's going on with Rumble. I don't exactly know what it is, but it seems as if there is fuckery afoot. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? Just so you guys know, yes, Public is the stream sponsor of the day. Happy Monday. Everyone should sign up for Public. It is free to download. It is free to sign up. There's no love lost for you to check it out. Use that link. You'll start out at a higher rebate tier. But I do want to let you know, obviously last week was Black Friday. If you happen to miss out on those deals, you can probably get yourself a pretty nice Cyber Monday deal. For example, I believe I just bought mine here. How do I do this? Explore our plans. No, that's going to mess it up. But if you didn't get the Trading View deal, I think they extended it to today for Cyber Monday. If you want to trade with Apex accounts, right now, they're still running the deal. If you want to trade with a Take Profit account, they're still running a deal. If you want to trade with a funded futures network, all of that. Whenever it comes to the world of SIM to funded, whether it's Apex, Take Profit, Funded Futures, Tradeify, Vanquish, any of that stuff, obviously the code Goonie will get you the best deal at that moment in time. If you're looking to renew your TradingView subscription, right now you could use the link. It's in the description of the video. Bookmap right here of where we're seeing all the sitting buy orders and sell orders. You could use that link. I just want to let you know that the Cyber Mondays deals are still going on. A lot of them are still pretty good. So if you're looking to, I guess, renew your software packages or buy accounts, this, that, the other thing, it's most likely in the description of the video. Just click on those links or just use that code Goonie. Obviously, if there's any questions, feel free to ask Chaos, my producer, or you could reach out to me, media@MatthewKohrs.com. You could email me. You could DM me on Twitter. You could DM me on Instagram. You can DM me on MySpace. You could DM me on Grindr. You can DM me. You could DM me wherever you want. Farmermeat.com, jdate.com. My DMs are open. So if you have any specific questions, feel free to let them fly. And then actually, while we're waiting to see how deep this pullback is, I'm more than willing to answer some questions right now. We're in this awkward phase where is the market just going to get clapped? Are we just going for this downside gap fill? Downside gap fill 6776. Visibility. Yeah, 6776. That's this guy right here. Downside gap fill 6776.40. It is the high from Tuesday of last week. We might be bouncing off of this guy right here. Remember, put credit spread 6810 by 6805. Last Thursday and Friday after hours, Rumble ask spread was all the way to 1911 respectively. Yeah, that happens all the time with regular trading hours. Like, just if market makers aren't providing liquidity to it, the bid and the ask spread get very large. That's not anything, at least in my mind, of note. I feel like I'm missing a key detail about Coot here and why she is no longer frequent in trade. Just no, there's no bad blood. She just doesn't trade anymore. She got a new job. She helps manage other non-trading communities. She just isn't like. There's a lot of people from that AMC era that, because of how AMC played out and GME played out and Doge and Shiba, that they just have a sour like taste in their mouth for the world of trading. But no, she's still a friend of a community. I'm still personally very cool with her. It's just obviously some people like to continue trading and other people don't. So yeah, it's one of those things. Sometimes there's a lot of people who just got busy with their real life job, and it's just one of those situations. Trust me, I would let you know if there is legit drama. I mean, I'm more than happy to talk about whatever drama. Like, I don't really give a shit, but unfortunately, there's just nothing like spicy or exciting there. There isn't. But I do know that there is a hit piece coming out on a trader, an influencer, a guru, who I think is the lowest level fucking scumbag ever. So I'm really, really excited for that hit piece to come out. And in fact, I think we should have a watch party. I am not making the hit piece, but I've been asked about it, and I've seen some evidence that they're going to share in it. And let me tell you, it's gonna be a spicy one. So I'm very excited for that. So not only will we be able to have a very fun watch party, but if you ask me, I hope it completely torpedoes their career, because I think they are a lying scumbag piece of shit. And I think that's what should happen to lying scumbag pieces of shit. I think they should lose their career because, once again, they're lying scumbag pieces of shit. What is the latest X/Twitter drama? I haven't really heard of any lately. Have you guys heard of any? I'm more than happy to give my unfounded opinions on it. But I don't know of any. I know that Top Step has persistent issues, but that's not really like drama. That's just like a shitty platform to be trading on. I hope it's ICT. No, dude, that guy. There's no new drama with ICT because he's just perpetually the same fucking loser. He's just always is losing money, and yet there's always people who think he somehow created the market algorithm. Why can someone explain to me? Maybe especially if you're new, and maybe before we opened your eyes to like what is real trading and what isn't real trading, can someone articulate to me how so many people fall for ICT's bullshit? Like, is it one of these things where we all just have on these blinders because you want what he is saying to be true? Or do you think like I just don't get how any human on this planet falls for it. And the only thing I could think, because smart people fall for it, the only thing I could possibly think is that we just inherently want it to work because maybe if you dedicate so much time and you sink so much time into a specific thing that you want to pay off for it. I just don't get it. Someone's going to have to articulate to me how that works. Matt, flies are attracted to shit. Well, I don't know if it's quite that, because we all start our trading journey somewhere. And there are some people who just arbitrarily one day are on X and they see that and it sounds good because they're so new they don't even know what to compare it to. So it's just more of like a bad beat that unfortunately the person who brought them into the world of trading is a complete fucking buffoon. So in a weird way, like I don't feel bad for him. Like whatever, fuck that guy. Whatever. He's a piece of shit. He's a lying piece of shit. He's never had a successful period of trading in his entire life. But I do feel for the like, imagine that. You want to learn about trading. The first thing you find about trading just happens to be from a charlatan. Like, what do you do? Matt can't understand ICT concepts, so he talks down on them. Yeah. That's the issue. That's the problem. Except I make money trading and ICT doesn't. I thought Trey was the shit until I found out. That's my point, is it happens. So even this, we have someone in here, Drew Tesla, who like, he just doesn't know what he doesn't know. So he thinks it's right. But yet as many hours of his deranged lectures as you've learned, why are you not net profitable? Out of the like tens of thousands of people who have followed ICT, why are there less than 5 who have made money? Like if the concepts and the strategies are so good, why out of, let's say, 100,000 people who think he knows how to trade, why are there only like literally less than 5 who have made money? Like, does no one have questions on that? Does no one think that that's a little bit like suspect, just like the pure numbers? As a novice beginner in any area, you should always research multiple sources and people. I agree with that, but once again, sometimes when you're new, and I'm like, there's without a doubt, I was this guy one point at trading. You just don't know what you don't know. I remember when I first started trading, this is probably a blast from the past, but I remember I was taking the Tim Sykes classes, and I thought I was going to be the next hottest penny stock trader in the world. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. So I burned thousands of dollars on his classes and books and examples. And the guy has no fucking clue what he's talking about. He hit one lucky streak back when he was in college. And forever since then, he's been marketing that as his success. And he's a top tier marketer. That doesn't mean he's a good trader. What do I think about TJR? That has to be a joke, right? There's no way he could trade. He's a fucking... Like literally he got kicked off of Tradeify after they announced a partnership because everyone brought to light how many pump and dumps he's been involved in the meme stock world. He's just a kid. Once again, he's good at marketing, but that doesn't mean he's a good trader. Just because people have a big presence and you know about them, that doesn't mean that they're net profitable in trading. They're just good at marketing, and they put on this illusion that they know what they're doing in the world of trading. I know it's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that ain't true. Mark Twain, dude. That's a good saying. What about Trader TV Live? They're just prop traders in the world of stock trading. So they just do intraday scalps, this and that. I don't know if they're good at it. Like, I don't know if they're net profitable or not. I've never really had an issue with them. They've talked a lot of shit on me back when I was considerably bigger than them in AMC. They were jealous. But I've never had any interactions. I thought it was weird that they wanted to talk shit. But as traders, I can't comment. Honestly, they might be good. They might be bad. To my understanding, I think there's multiple hosts, so maybe some are and maybe some aren't. But it's not like I've ever seen like brokerage statements that they're like, oh my God, these are amazing or not. So I can't comment. Like, obviously, I know ICT is a net losing trader. There's certain people who we know of that like they've just never had success. They've never shown their brokerage statements or anything like that. And they're always like trying to play the game of dodging it. Another one who's like a complete bullshit trader. What the fuck's his name? Who's that fucking dweeb that tried to like fight me recently? Trade Rocket Scooter or whatever. He's another one that it's just all a scam. Like they are all just like fucking lying about it. So there are some I can't comment on, like Trader Live TV. I don't know. I don't have all their success and or failures memorized. So I hope they're not profitable. I hope what they are trading and teaching is good because I don't want to see other people lose. But then there's other ones who you just don't know. Ron Walker, Never heard of him. Trader Brigade. Some of you have asked me about him. I've never looked him up. I don't know. Once again, might be good, might not. Actually, Sean, on Trader TV Live, he shouted you out getting the whole AMC thing right. Well, that's nice. I hope that's more true because other people have seen him talking, or I don't know which one Sean is or isn't. But I know back in the day they were like trying to talk shit on me. And who knows? Maybe sometimes the internet's the internet, and maybe it's just a marketing play. Maybe if they talk shit, I'd come on their show and we promote each other's show, and you just get bigger. Like, you can't really take that many things like personally in this world. You really can't. Chris Sane? No. The only thing I knew about that is one time. The only thing I know about Chris Sane, this is actually a pretty funny story. I've never had any interactions with him or anything like that. But I remember I had, back when I was starting in this particular world, I had a person who was always comparing their numbers to Chris and like would get frustrated when they weren't doing better because his videos were better than Chris's. And then one day he called me, he's like, Matt, you got to check this out. And I was like, oh, what? And Chris Sane was, I don't know, making a prediction and telling people how to trade this, that, the other thing as what happens in this space. And the call out was wrong. And the guy, it was just like, you know how sometimes on YouTube people just like, hey man, you were wrong on that. Like there's just like a lot of shit talking when you're wrong. That's just kind of how this world works. Someone called him out and they're like, hey man, your last call was wrong. Like anything to say, dude. It was like a 3-paragraph response of how he was just going to beat the shit out of him. As in the creator, Chris Sane, responded to a hate comment of some guy just saying, hey, that call was wrong. And like, dude, it just kept going and going and going. It was 3 paragraphs of how he was just going to brutally assault him. So that's the only thing I know about Chris Sane is that he like threatened to physically assault. He's like, oh, this had to be back in 2021, 2022. So I haven't seen his content. I don't even know he's still a creator if he is or isn't. But it's funny. That was like a little bit of a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. I forgot about that. But yeah, I think I actually have it saved somewhere because like the guy I was talking to was so fucking jazzed up about it. He sent it to me. But yeah, it was just a 3-paragraph thing about how he's going to brutally assault one of his commenters. So there's that vibe. That's the thing. So according to Apex Dash, my account board should still be live and my FFN are still live is going on today. I don't know what part of the Dash, but some of their stuff doesn't update until after the market closes, Supernova, but I don't know what portion of the dashboard you're looking at. Back in early 2021, I was watching Andrew and Meatball and you did a co-stream with MLO. Been here ever since. I miss Meatball. That dog was cool, but Mo Money was a fucking pussy. Like he had the spine of a fucking jellyfish. Triple bottom. We'll find out. Do you know where we're triple bottoming? That's a good smart call out from you folks right here. Surprise, surprise. 6,800 again. Technically slightly higher. That is a higher low, and this is a higher low. I don't think we're out of the woods yet because we're just battling it at the put credit spread. So as much as 6,800 is important, this player to the tune of 44,000. Holy shit. This is a 99.6 percentile play. As in only 0.4% of the time is there a larger play. 44,000 contracts. This I thought this was big, but this isn't big. That's a massive play. That's a fucking gigantic play. And once again, this play wants it above 6,810. That's a put credit spread. Whatever happened to TTG? I think they're still operating a business. What did he call himself? Andrew Mo Money? M-O Money? Mo Money? I remember one time he called me. Do you guys remember back in the AMC craziness in 2021, how I streamed all day? He actually legitimately, this was another grown man calling another grown man. And as much as you're both content creators, you're also like kind of competing. He asked if I could only stream in the morning and stop streaming so he could stream in the later half of the day because no one was watching his content. Like he literally just called and said, hey man, could you like please stop streaming so much? And I thought about it and said, No, that's fucking stupid. But yeah, no, I remember that phone call. He's like, hey, you just like, whenever you're live, I get no viewers. So would you mind like only streaming in the morning? I was like, I don't think you understand how this works. So that was an interesting call. They are live. I took one big loss today. It opened unrealized negative P&L on any single trade. Cannot execute 30 pounds starting daily profit. You can still trade. You're just not going to get approved on your next payout. So that doesn't blow up your accounts. You just broke the MAE rule. TMI always speaks well on you. Oh yeah, I always got along with him because he was a person who was just trying to legitimately teach others how to trade. He didn't get involved in this other dumb like drama and bullshit. I always had respect for TMI. Bitcoin is still getting rocked? Ooh, it is. Wow. It is getting undone quite rapidly. Fuck, dude. That is getting buffaloed. Holy cow. Not the best way to start off the month. So have you thought about going live for Power Hour instead of a wrap-up video? We tried that in January of either 24 or 25. We did it for a full month and no one gave a shit. But if you guys would prefer a Power Hour stream instead of a wrap-up video, yeah, let me know. I mean, Chaos, my producer, and I are here to do whatever you guys want. So if there's more people saying, no, we want like a live Power Hour stream instead of a wrap-up video, just let us know, dude. And we're happy to do it. If you guys would prefer, I don't even talk about finance anymore, and we just start doing stair-stepping streams where I give life advice on anything. We could do that too. We could completely stop trading. If you want me to get addicted to heroin and join a homeless community in the tunnels under Las Vegas and stream that, we could do that as well. Like, it's just the world, folks. It's at the end of it. We're at the end of a calendar year. And whenever you get to this point, you start to really ask yourself, like, what am I doing with my career? What's the next big move? So you caught me at a right moment where I'm willing to really like end this chapter and start a new one. And we don't even necessarily have to start a new. We could go start a whole new book. Texas Roadhouse Power Hour. Yeah. If you want me to like start street fights in a Texas Roadhouse, and that's like the series that we watch, we could do that too. Like just Texas Roadhouse street fights. Like just all of a sudden blooming onions, like just going everywhere. Yeah, that could be the next form of content. Wrap up stream and edit post as wrap up video. The old double dipperoo, kind of a cleanup of it. That could be interesting. Cocaine stream. Just getting like egregiously high, and then I just read old political speeches to you. That there's something there. Do whatnot streams, flip Pokemon cards. A whatnot stream? I don't know if I've heard that terminology, but just random like business opportunities. That could be cool. Could be a fun challenge. Anyway, I know this is slow going, but the market is kind of getting rejected as a trend line. This is what I was watching. Seemingly important. I wonder if we're just putting in a higher low. We are. What's that? The meme from that kid from the fair? Apparently we're bouncing once again off of 6,800. But really what I'm most interested in is how we are reacting to said trend line. We're trying to get above it. We bounce up to the 50-minute, the 1 minute 50 EMA right here at 17, running into a little bit of a struggle. Not quite overshooting that upside gap fill, but like I said, it is technically a triple bottom right here. We are attempting to hold the right here, 810. This is the put credit spread. How to skin a cat? No, don't say that. Piper's in the room. You're going to freak her out. Are the Epstein files related to Bitcoin? I don't think there's a thing in this world that the Epstein files aren't related to. Like, I think if you're like, Matt, I have a pretty compelling argument that in the Epstein files, it would rock the world because it's about how Mother Teresa created Bitcoin. Like, she is Satoshi. I'd be like, non-zero chance. Let's throw it up on Polymarket. Like, there's at this point, you could convince me of anything, really. I'd buy it. I'd buy it. All right. Hang on. 950. Close with single order. Limit. What's my limit price? 11. I'm in at 950 and I'm trying to get out at 11. Confirm and send. All right. That trade that I've been watching forever, I just executed it. The one where I've been sitting here basically literally forever waiting for it. Wait, is my order in? Hello? Oh, wait, date range. That's not right. Today. I need them both to say today. All right, so I just got to fill SPX, whatever. I'm basically break even right now, but here's my position. Average fill, 950. I have 10. SPX 6825 calls. I am long, bullish play. Like I said, I was waiting for the push, the pullback, the bounce. I'm attempting to play it. Like I said, I got in at 950. And as you can see from my order here, I'm trying to get out at 11. So I'm trying to make a quick $1,500. I'm up a little bit right now, 200. It's moving pretty quickly though. Let's see how the flow looks. Mag 7, not the best. SPY catching a little bit of a relief. This was more of like, yeah, I do appreciate the relief that we're seeing in the Delta flow, but more so, I was waiting for the push, the pullback. I thought this was a higher low at 1044, excuse me. And I'm looking to see if there's any follow through. That's the play. I'm hoping that obviously this triple bottom holds, but really you could see what I'm looking at. Maybe we get a quick push up to 25, and then by that point I should be able to lock it in. And my risk, I'll probably use somewhere between 808 and 810 as my risk, somewhere maybe this bar. I guess I could use 800, but we'll see. Ozempic cheeks? You're saying I have Ozempic cheeks? Dude, I wish. I wish I could take that compliment, honestly. I wish. Dude, I wish I were squinty. You guys are looking at a little fucking Oompa Loompa. They don't call me Caucasian Oompa Loompa for no reason. Your boy's been spending a little bit too much time at the chocolate factory, you know? I'm like Augustus Gloop. But that is nice of you to say. I wish I had the like skinny cheeks in here, but I don't. Your boys, Willy Wonka's left the factory a little bit unchecked, and I've been going a little bit too hardcore this holiday season. So yeah, there's that. Can you explain why you took the trade? I literally just did. It was a trend line breakout with the larger trend after a triple bottom. Matt, do you like the 6-7 meme crap? I don't miss the days of these nuts were creative. I don't really get the 6-7 thing, but to my understanding, that's the point of the meme, is that it doesn't make any sense. So I don't get it, but I think that is inherently the meme, is that no one gets it. But I don't know, dude. Gen Z is wild. Gen Z. I'm a millennial. People used to think that millennials were kind of crazy. They're like, why are they always joking about killing themselves? And I bet for anyone who's above millennial, you're probably wishing that was where it stopped. You probably thought we were the people who were going nuts and losing our mind. And no, I bet you wish you had our jokes back. That at least made a little bit of sense. Speaking of Ozempic, have you guys seen Jelly Roll lately? Did he lose a lot of weight? Yeah, the whole body positivity movement took a pretty big hit when everyone in Hollywood started to get seriously addicted to Ozempic or Roe or whatever the hell the names are. What are we missing out on anything? What are we dude? Crypto's getting a smoke. Getting smoked. I'm not really seeing any other major news. There's a couple that are worthwhile to check. Let me just see if there's anything breaking right now. Crypto liquidation surged to 900 million over the last 24 hours as Bitcoin falls to 84,000. No headlines or market moves, yet Bitcoin has raised 120 billion in market cap. Leverage is a dangerous game. It most certainly is. It's official. Silver is now set to post its first 12-month candlestick with a 100% gain since 1979. Wow. Wow, that's nuts. And look at what happened in 1980. Even though it gained 100%, it kept going like nuts. And then it got completely destroyed. But there was probably, a good year and a half there where it went up a shitload. It went up an absolute shitload. Breaking. Silver prices surged to $58 an ounce for the first time in history, now officially up 100% in 2025. Silver is now up more than 6 times as much as the S&P 500 in 2025. Keep watching precious metals. They know what's next. So silver, rippity, skippity, doodah to the upside as crypto is getting its face slapped. So I guess people are going pretty risk off in crypto right now, and they're going for some sort of hedge. As you're seeing precious metals, silver leading the way, but I'm sure gold's up. I bet palladium, copper, all those soft metals are probably ripping it. They're probably ripping it. Hey, I almost made my money. 1.1, 1.1, 1.1, 1.3. Remember, I'm just going for 1.4, 1.5. Lock it in. Bada bing, bada boom. I know the text is a little small, but order filled 1.5. Called out before the play was even entered. I told you exactly what I was looking for. Then it presented itself. I showed you I placed the trade, explained it right when I placed it. There was a weird lag. You had many minutes to take advantage of it. And boom, locked in, all done in real time. So on the options account, 1.5K, and then about 17.5 on the futures account, all once again done and explained in real time, folks. What else could I be doing for you? You know, like at a certain point, what else can your boy be doing for you? We're just explaining it. Oh wait, I did want to do something over here. I haven't done premium selling in a hot minute. Vertical. Am I doing this right? Don't remind me again. Or you should remind me again. Let's see if this works. I think I did get a fill. I did. We're selling a little bit of premium today, folks. Just a little bit of premium. All right, if you are in the Discord, I just made a 0 DTE trade that I am working quickly to get updated. All right, here, front running Piper. All right, we had that. And actually, Piper is about to fire as well. First Piper trade of the new month. That's some exciting stuff. And what levels is Piper telling me to do? All right. Right. All right. If you are in the Discord, my 0DTE trade just went in there. The premium selling one, it's in thick trades. Piper strategy went in there, which basically the 0DTE trade is the Piper strategy, effectively kind of close. I think maybe it's off by a little bit. So that's in there as well. So feel free to check it out. BTC bear market started. I think it's already been there. A bear market is when it's down 20% from the all-time high. Bitcoin hit a bear market in mid-November. Like by definition, a correction, a pullback is 10%. So that happened like right after we hit it, like within days of after hitting the all-time high, we hit the quote unquote correction pullback territory. And then a bear market is when you're down below 20%. So yeah, we hit that in mid-November. So it's already been there. It's now down 33% from the all-time high. So we're beyond the bear market. We're definitely beyond the bear market. Definitely. Hey man, first time viewer from Sydney, Australia. How long have you been trading? About a decade. And if you could give one piece of advice for intermediate traders, what would it be? One piece of advice. Well, first of all, my first thing would say your life is easier as an investor. The ceiling is lower, but it's easier to make money as an investor. The shorter your time frame, the more difficulty involved. But the ceiling of how much money you could make increases. So that's the trade-off. So if you're like, no, that doesn't matter to me. Like I want to be an intermediate swing trader. I would say the biggest thing is understand that this is pretty much a game of 50-50. And I say that as a little bit of a higher level statement because yes, of course, there are some people who have a 60% hit rate, a 65, a 70% hit rate. But it's really... The closest analogy is either poker or blackjack, where you have to understand that there's going to be variance and you're not going to get everything right. And when you get into it, because there's money on the line, you want every single trade to be right. But in reality, your system is probably going to be 50-50. If you do some research and data analytics, maybe you can consistently get up to 60-70% hit rate. But what's far more important than that is your bet sizing, because you gotta overcome variance. Every single gambler knows from blackjack and poker that variance is a considerable thing that you have to consider. And in my mind, it is no different than trading, to the point that you could randomly pick an equity, a crypto, a future. You're probably going to be right 50-50. Like you could just throw the dart against the dartboard. But even with that, you could be net profitable by having proper sizing. And just to really drive home this point, the world's most successful hedge fund of all time, Renaissance Technologies, which has like an annual return in excess of like 30-some%. It is the best hedge fund of all time. There's no one even close to it. They've made $100 billion of profit ever since the 1980s. I think in the 1980s, they had one down year. And ever since then, they've never, ever had a net losing year. And they did that with being quote unquote right, like a hit rate of 50.75%. They weren't even right 51% of the time, which tells you that the market is going to be pretty much normally distributed. And like, yeah, you might have weird tails on the right and the left side. So it's much more of a mathematical game of risk management than figuring out the puzzle of picking the right one. You're going to be right half the time. You're going to be wrong. It's more of when you're wrong, you got to cut it quickly. And when you're right, you got to ride it as long as you possibly can. That's how you make a bunch of money. And unfortunately for retail traders, it's the opposite. A lot of retail traders hold on to their losing trades far too long, and they hold on to their winning trades for far too short of a period. And I mean, I'm saying that as a person that's one of my personal afflictions. I'm pretty good at holding on to my winners, but I hold on to everything for too long. I hold on to my winners for too long, and I hold on to my losers for too long. So arguably I only have 50% of the issue, but I am more than willing to let a position go and go and go in either direction. And personally, I'd be a far better trader if I cut the losers like in a third of the time before I normally do, like without a doubt. You've been married for 12 years? No, I've been married for just over a year. I got married in October of 24. Holding on to my wife for too long. Yeah, it's an affliction, man. It's a disease. But that's why I have Piper. That is why I have Piper. Thanks for the follow, Average Joe Patriot. I don't think you're Average Joe. I just think you're a patriot. Matt, would you take long calls on MSTR knowing that BTC will come back? No, tactically, that's the wrong play because you're going to get vol crushed. If it goes up, you're getting the delta direction right, but you're getting the vol direction wrong, so you're going to be losing extrinsic value. A lot of people make them, it's an unforced error. When something dips and you think there's going to be a V-shaped recovery, if you are right in price, if you are right, and I'm not saying you're right, I'm giving you a 50% chance because remember, MSTR and Bitcoin aren't that correlated. So first of all, I hate your reasoning. Would you take long calls on MSTR knowing that Bitcoin will come back? Bitcoin can easily come back without MSTR coming back. That doesn't make sense. But let's just like pretend we live in a la world that they are correlated. If it comes back and your question is, do you take long calls? If you are right in the price movement, you're still losing extrinsic value because you're going to be losing vol. Right now, MSTR vol, the implied vol is very high because it's dropping so rapidly, so quickly. So you're going to get vol crushed. So for two reasons, that's a stupid play. It's a stupid play. One, because you're assuming Bitcoin and MSTR have a correlation, and clearly they don't. And second, you're misplaying the product to play it. You're using the wrong product. You're going long calls, which is inaccurate. What you should be doing is, if you wanted that, if you're like, nope, and once again, this is just pretending that there is a correlation, which I'm not saying that there is, but if there was a correlation, a better way to play it would either be an at-the-money call, a call debit spread, or probably really ideal is actually selling puts against it, because then you'd be able to take advantage of the vol crush. So there's other ways to do it, but to go long calls, that is tactically wrong, and it's doubly wrong because you're assuming there's a correlation that doesn't exist. They do have a correlation, though. All right, whatever. Go buy calls. I don't give a shit. Like, fuck. That's as stupid as saying, like, I'm saying the sun is hot, which is a measurable thing. Like, there is a mathematical definition to what correlation either is or isn't. There is not a correlation there. It's a very, very weak one. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't have to convince you of basic mathematics. So if you believe there's a correlation, fucking have at it, dude. It's your money that's going to get burned, not mine. That's the dumbest shit ever. And hey, I hope you don't lose money on it, but I also hope in the meantime, of you most likely losing money, I hope you take the time to crack open one of your high school math books and understand what correlation is and how to compute it. There is a correlation, though. I mean, do you know how crazy it is for me? I mean, I could say something as measurable as the sun is hot, and then there's people in here with the confidence of, no, it's not. But it's not high. MSTR is very correlated to BTC. All right. You're right, I'm wrong. Bet on it. So fucking stupid. So stupid. Like, you're saying it and you don't even know the correlation. Like, correlation, it's not an opinionated thing. Like, there's a mathematical measure of correlation. It's your R-squared value. You're either perfectly correlated with a value of 1, or you're perfectly inversely correlated with a -1. And if you're not correlated at all, it comes in at 0. Like, this is an opinion, folks. This is basic math. Like literally, this is rudimentary fucking math. And people are like, it's so correlated. It's so correlated. It's so stupid. At a certain point, you just have to it's financial Darwinism is really what it is if people who believe that are that hardcore in their bit, have at it, man. I'm not stopping you. Go do it. Go. There's a strong correlation to dumbasses and viewers of this show. Yeah, that's also measurable, and I don't disagree. See, you understand correlation in one point, but just not in another. I don't understand how you can understand it in one state of mind, but not in a different state of mind. Like, clearly, this idea of correlation doesn't completely escape you, but then why can't you just apply the same logic to something else? The R squared of, wow. So right here, Garrett Williams, the R squared value of MSTR to Bitcoin is 0.27. And guess what that is called? A weak correlation, almost to the point of no correlation. That's a very, very low value of 0.27. MSTR trades at an 80% value to BTC Holdings net assets value, dumbass. Who are you calling a dumbass? Me or the other guy? Because I don't think you... Are you saying that backs up my point or his point? Are you seriously trying to compare the Sun to Sydney Sweeney? Yes. Mean correlation is 0.52. Dude, none of you guys have even point out a number that is considered to be strongly correlated. Like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's one thing if you guys want to argue about like opinionated things, but this is, not only is it math, but it's like rather basic math. Like, we all learned how to do correlation. We all learned what these mean. And yet people are super high correlation. Everyone knows pi r squared, pi r round. Pi r not squared. Well, I'm starting to really wonder what our Department of Education is doing. I know right now it's a hot political topic of should we defund the Department of Education, but honestly, look at what's happening in this conversation right now. Look at what's happening in this conversation right now. Like, are we getting anything out of the Department of Education? MSTR has a 0.8 correlation to my balls. Is that the guy who thought Margot Robbie was mid? Probably, dude. It's like Margot Robbie's mid and MSTR is highly correlated with Bitcoin. That's, I learn something in here every day. Where would I be in my trading career without you guys? Oh, I love this. Just look at it. That's math. That is some math. Bro, just overlap BTC with MSTR chart and you'll see for yourself. That's math right there. Just eyeballing it. That's how we do math, folks. That is. Tell me you're an ICT trader without telling me you're an ICT trader. Like, dude, just look. My math is my eyeballs. 60% of Americans in the U.S. can't read above a 6th grade level, and apparently they can't do 3rd grade math. Just look at it, man. That's math. Just look. Matt loses 3 IQ points a day. Dude, more than that. Do you know how much Tylenol I'm snorting and fluoride I'm drinking per day? That's what I do. Just to like cope with these shows and comments like this. As soon as the show's over, I'm just loading my system up with Tylenol and fluoride. I might have teeth that are as strong as could be, but it's just going to be strong ass teeth on something that can't fucking read, write, or reason. Just Tylenol and fluoride. I am, in the eyes of RFK and Trump, I'm the worst to do it. 60% of the time, MSTR moves with BTC every time. Hell yeah. That's the type of math that I want to get into. I'm too stupid to know about this correlation, but if you ask AI, they all say something like MSTR's price is highly correlated with Bitcoin due to MicroStrategy's large Bitcoin holdings. Oh, well, if AI said it, fuck, dude. Sorry, I take everything back. My bad. AI said something. If AI said it, it must be true. I forgot that it is December 1st of 2021. AI never gets anything wrong ever. Ever. I resend every single comment that I have had about MSTR and Bitcoin. My bad. I didn't realize AI was going to show me up like that. Why do you go on rants anytime you disagree with people, then trolls all join in just saying as dumb of shit? Well, the dumb shit is funny because they're inherently making fun of them, but it's not like, it's one thing, like I said, if we have a difference in something that's opinionated. The beautiful thing about math, which really influences a lot of the market, is a lot of it is just like measurable. Like it's not like an opinion, it's subjective. It's not objective, or it's not subjective. It is objective. It's measurable. We have the numbers. We can look at it. And then people, like, you could show them the math of it, and they're like, nah, dude. Nah. Matt didn't get laid last night. Well, you could say that for literally every single day of my life, and that wouldn't change. You think that's a win? You think that's a win for you to say it? There is a high correlation with me going to bed and not getting laid, if you want to talk about correlations. Show us the math and go ahead. Well, I'm already 10 minutes over. But literally, you would just put, it's like not hard. You just load in the data of Bitcoin. You just load in the data of MSTR, and then you do basic correlation calculation. And in fact, you don't even have to do the correlation. AI could probably do the correlation for you. What was the best trade you ever made? I traded a tank of gas, driving, burned it, burned some fossil fuels, put a hole in the ozone layer to pick up my cat. That was probably the best trade I've done. It was a worthwhile effort for me to burn the ozone layer to get my cat. I bet he doesn't know what MSCR other than the ticker. Just because the company owns BTC doesn't mean their stock is going to mirror it. They don't understand it at all. If you want something that has a high correlation, it would be IBIT or BITX. Those are going to be correlated. But you're just picking the one that doesn't have the correlation. Does anyone else feel super correlated right now? I think we all do, deep on the inside. Well, folks, like I said, I'm over, and I've already made my money on the day. Before I let you go, don't forget to sign up for Public. It is pinned to the top of chat. It is in the description of the video. Shout out to Public for once again partnering up with us. We've been with them for years, and it's for good reason. I think they are absolutely awesome. If you haven't bought your software, like your TradingView, your Bookmap, that type of a thing, remember there are still Cyber Monday deals going on. But with respect to the market itself right now, we have larger ranges. There's not much stability. Watch the put credit spread, the lower side of the Captain Condor play on SPX. It is structured at 6810, spread by 5 points to 6805. So watch that play. We did get the upside gap fill already today. There is still a downside gap fill on SPX in terms of close proximity. I believe it is at 6776, but that you could fact check me on that one. Later on today, we will be posting an update video after the market closes, but in a mere 45 minutes, we have a specialty video coming out for all of you on the backup channel related to my recent failures with Apex. So if you want to see how stupid a human being can possibly be, well, I think we're going to have to submit this one to the Guinness Book of World Records, because I think it's a compelling piece of evidence that I might be one of the dumbest people on this planet. That video is coming out in about 45 minutes on the backup channel. If you're on Rumble, it's coming out on the normal channel. So that's coming out at noon. Update video tonight, and then tomorrow morning we will be streaming once again 9 a.m. bright and early. Is there a deal on Spot Gamma? Yeah. All that stuff is in the description of the video. There's a deal on Bookmap, Spot Gamma, TradingView, Apex, Take Profit Trader, FFN, all that stuff. It's all in the description of the video, and they are all running deals for today, Cyber Monday. So just use the link in those descriptions or use the code or whatever, and you should apply whatever the best current deal is. Anyway, folks, I hope you crush it today. Stick to your trading plan, respect your risk, understand correlation, understand variance. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.